Oh my god. A video generator with multimodal capabilities similar to Cadence 2 can now run locally on a low VRAM PC. Even an RTX 3050 with only 8GB of VRAM can successfully complete a generation. This time, LTX 2.3 may finally have a real competitor. This is MiniMax H3, and it can do much more than just text to video and image to video. It can use an image to control a character's appearance, a video to provide character performance and camera movement, and your own voice recording or background music to regenerate everything as a complete video with sound. In this video, I will show you how to set up MiniMax H3 on your own computer and test its image to video, first and last frame, and reference capabilities. We will take a detailed look at exactly what images, videos, and audio can control, as well as the most common problems you may encounter in real-world use. I will also run this 33 billion parameter model on both a 16GB VRAM system and an RTX 3050 with only 8GB of VRAM. I will show low VRAM users which settings need to be adjusted and how much extra generation time they should expect. Finally, I will answer the most important question. Can MiniMax H3 replace LTX 2.3 and become the best local AI video generator available right now? Hello, welcome to Smart Vision. On this channel, I keep sharing the latest AI tutorials and practical tools. All workflows, materials, and resources from this video are on my Patreon and are available to download after you register. For supporters, I provide extra professional tools and deeper guides. If you like this content, consider subscribing and supporting the channel. Now let's get started. MiniMax H3 is worth paying attention to for more than just the fact that it is an open-weight model that can be downloaded and run locally. At the time of recording, H3 had already reached the top tier of the LM Arena image-to-video leaderboard, placing it very close to leading cloud models such as Cadence 2. More importantly, most models near the top of the leaderboard are paid cloud services, while the core H3 model can run on your own computer. Its biggest difference is that it can understand text, images, video, and audio within the same context, while generating visuals, character dialogue, ambient sound, sound effects, and background music together. Tasks that previously required several separate workflows can now potentially be handled by H3 in a single generation. However, a leaderboard can only tell us that the visuals look impressive. It cannot prove that the audio actually matches the action. So before we get into installation, let us start with the first result. For the first test, I want to find out whether MiniMax H3's native audio simply makes a video have sound, or whether it can actually control when each sound appears. I designed an 8-second scene inside a spacecraft cockpit. For the first 2 seconds, the female astronaut only examines the control panel. After the warning light turns on, she looks toward the camera and says, "This is our only chance." She then pulls down a control lever. A metallic impact should occur precisely when it locks into place. The engine rumble should begin only after the engines start, while the background music should gradually intensify without overpowering the dialogue. If these sounds cannot follow the visuals, then native audio is simply placing random but relevant sounds into the video. Now, let's look at the result.
This is our only chance.
The result was better than I expected. The model waited for approximately 2 seconds, and the dialogue began only after the warning light appeared. The pronunciation was accurate, it did not generate any incorrect or additional words, and the lip sync was perfect. When she pulled down the control lever, the metallic impact appeared at exactly the right moment. The engine sound and background music also felt very natural, without overpowering her voice. Based on this example, I think H3's native audio is ready for direct use. It has successfully combined visuals, dialogue, ambient sound, synchronized action effects, and music within a single generation. Since the result is promising enough to continue, let me show you how to run H3 on your own computer. One of the easiest ways to use MiniMax H3 right now is through ComfyUI. If you already have ComfyUI installed, update it to the latest version, then open the MiniMax H3 workflow from templates. If this is your first time using ComfyUI, I will put the official website link in the video description. NVIDIA users can download the appropriate version directly. AMD compatibility varies between GPU models, and I did not test an AMD GPU for this video, so I recommend checking the official compatibility list first. You will also need to download the H3 model, text encoder, and the video and audio VAEs. I have organized all the download links, file names, and folder locations in the workflow note. Simply follow the instructions, download the required files, and place them in the corresponding folders to complete the setup. The official template is useful for understanding the basic node structure. The version I use in this video reorganizes the nodes and parameters, while also adding turbo, low VRAM, and an optional prompt assistant. I will make this optimized workflow available on Patreon. When you first open the workflow, it may look like there are a lot of nodes. In practice, however, it has only 4 main sections: model loading, user input, generation and sampling, and video output. The model section does not need to be changed frequently. Follow the links in the workflow note to download the H3 model, text encoder, and video and audio VAEs. Place them in the indicated folders, refresh ComfyUI, and make sure each loader can detect the correct model. In the input section, you can add a prompt, image, video, or audio depending on your task. References that are not being used can remain empty, so you do not need to connect everything. For H3 prompts, it is best to describe 4 things clearly: the visual content, character actions, camera movement, and the timing of both sounds and events. If you are using multiple references, you should also tell the model what each source is responsible for and which elements must not be copied. To reduce the time required to structure every prompt manually, I added an optional Ollama node to the workflow. It uses a local LLM to rewrite a simple description into a structured prompt designed for H3. Ollama is not required to run H3. If you already have a complete prompt, you can simply bypass this node. If you want to use it, install Ollama and the corresponding ComfyUI node. Once Ollama has been installed, open it and select Gemma 412B. Send it a simple message such as "Hello," and Ollama will automatically download the model. You also need to enable this setting so that ComfyUI can connect to Ollama. Select Gemma 412B and set Keep Alive to 0. This releases the resources used by Ollama immediately after the prompt has been generated, reducing the chance of an out-of-memory error when H3 loads afterward. Next, we need to set the video dimensions. Select 16:9 and set scale to 1 for an output of approximately 720p. If you reduce scale to 0.5, both the width and height are cut in half, which is useful for quickly testing your prompt and composition. For low VRAM users, I recommend starting with 0.5 for a preview. Once the motion looks correct, increase it to 1 for the final generation. The sampler combines the prompt and all references before sending them to H3 to generate the video and audio. Finally, the output section decodes the visuals and native audio, then combines them into a single MP4 file. In other words, the only things you normally need to change are your input assets, prompt, video dimensions, and sampler settings. The workflow itself is not difficult. The real problem is speed. On my RTX 4070 Ti Super, generating an 8-second, 720p video, with the original model at 20 steps takes around half an hour. Even if the model runs successfully, generating just a few shots could still take several hours. Fortunately, community developer Larryver has shared a MiniMax H3 Turbo LoRA that reduces sampling to between 4 and 8 steps. On my computer, 4 steps reduced the waiting time from almost 30 minutes to around 6 minutes, giving us close to a 5 times speed increase. Of course, this does not compress 20 steps into 4 without any trade-offs. At lower step counts, fast motion, facial details, and native audio can be less stable. However, it is already much more practical for testing prompts and running multiple generations. Installation requires 2 main steps. First, search for and install the MiniMax H3 Turbo node through ComfyUI Manager, then restart ComfyUI. Next, download the Turbo LoRA from Hugging Face, place it inside ComfyUI, Models, LoRa's, and open the Turbo workflow. There are only 3 areas you need to pay attention to. First, use the dedicated Turbo LoRA loader. The author recommends starting with a strength of 1. If object edges look over-sharpened or develop comic-style black outlines, try reducing it to between 0.8 and 0.95. Personally, I prefer the results at 0.8. If you have an 8GB GPU or encounter an out-of-memory error, you can enable low VRAM. If you have enough VRAM, leave it disabled, as this will usually preserve a sharper result. Second, switch to the MiniMax H3 Turbo Sampler and select Simple as the scheduler. Third, set the number of steps. 4 steps is suitable for quick previews. 6 steps provides a better balance. For fast action, complex characters, or obvious camera movement, you can increase it to 8 steps. If the result is unstable at 4 steps, increase the step count before deciding that the model does not work. Apart from the loader, sampler, scheduler, and step count, the rest of the workflow can remain almost identical to the official template. Now that we have partially solved the speed problem, it is time to increase the visual difficulty. I want H3 to create a complete chain of action and audio between 2 images. For the second test, I do not want the character to simply walk somewhere or open a door. I want her to destroy an entire planet. In the first frame, the girl is wearing a spacesuit and standing in front of an open airlock. In the final frame, she is already floating in space, firing a massive energy beam from both hands toward a distant planet and causing it to explode. H3 needs to generate the entire sequence between these 2 frames. The character moves out of the spacecraft, gathers energy, fires the beam, and only then does the planet begin to explode. The audio must follow the same chain of cause and effect. Based on the result, the model successfully completed the entire sequence. The character's movement into space looked very natural. The beam clearly originated from her hands and struck the planet, and the explosion appeared only after the energy beam made contact. The charging, firing, and explosion sound effects were also perfectly synchronized with the visuals. The only problem is that she did not move through the airlock directly beside her as intended. Instead, she entered space from somewhere outside the frame. Perhaps MiniMax H3 decided that this would create a more coherent sequence within the 8-second duration. Even so, the result demonstrates that H3 genuinely understood the cause and effect relationship between the first and last frames, rather than simply creating an attractive transition. So far, however, we have only used images as references. In the next test, I will place an image, a video, and an audio file into the same context. This is the most important test in the entire video. The female astronaut in the final video never appeared in the motion reference. The person, clothing, and background in the reference video are also completely different from what we want in the final result. The final line of dialogue was never spoken in the reference audio either. Picture 1 controls the female astronaut's identity, face, and spacesuit. Video 1 provides both the character's movements and the camera path. Audio 1 provides the voice timbre and speaking style. Finally, I asked H3 to discard the original person, clothing, and background from the reference video, preserve only the character movement and camera movement, and regenerate everything on a futuristic observation deck overlooking a neon city. The character also needs to use the voice characteristics from Audio 1 to deliver a completely new line that does not appear in the original recording. The future belongs to those who create it. I deliberately chose a highly distinctive voice for this test to see whether MiniMax H3 could successfully reproduce its characteristics.
The future belongs to those who create it.
One important thing to note is that if you want to use an audio reference, you currently need to disable the Turbo LoRA because this compatibility issue has not yet been resolved. That means we need to run the full 20 steps. Since my PC has limited hardware resources, I also had to reduce the output resolution to 360p, and the generation was extremely slow. So if you appreciate the effort that went into this test, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Now, let's look at the complete result.
The future belongs to those who create it.
First, let's look at character consistency. The final character successfully preserved the face, hairstyle, and spacesuit from picture 1. H3 also avoided copying the person, clothing, or background from the reference video. For the audio, the final voice matched Audio 1 perfectly. The character successfully delivered the new sentence, and the lip sync was also flawless. She was placed in the correct environment as well. The most obvious problem was that the character movement from the reference video was not preserved, and the camera did not appear to reproduce the original movement path either. So I ran another test using only the character image and the camera movement reference video to see whether H3 could reproduce the camera movement more accurately with just 2 references. Looking at the result, the camera slowly pushes in toward the character before drifting to the left. It did generate some camera movement, but it failed to accurately reproduce the trajectory, range, and pacing of the reference video. According to the official documentation, H3 can reference camera movement, editing, and temporal structure from a video. However, based on my testing, this works more like generative guidance than precise camera control. So I recommend treating a reference video as a cinematographer providing creative direction, rather than as an exact motion path that the model must follow. In practice, start with one character image and one reference video. Clearly tell H3 which elements it should preserve and which ones it must discard. Once the character and general camera direction are working correctly, you can add an audio reference if needed. Adding more references not only increases the hardware requirements but also makes it more likely that different instructions will compete with one another. That leaves us with one much more practical question. Can a model this large really run on an ordinary PC with only 8GB of VRAM? The previous tests were all completed on my RTX 4070 Ti Super PC with 16GB of VRAM. But what many people really want to know is, can H3 run on a GPU with only 8GB of VRAM? So I moved the same workflow to an older PC equipped with an RTX 3050. This machine has just 8GB of VRAM and 32GB of system RAM. I used a 720p resolution, the Turbo LoRA, and low VRAM mode to generate a 5-second image-to-video clip, testing whether it could complete model loading, video generation, and audio output. In the end, it successfully completed the entire generation, but even at just 4 steps, it still took around 19 minutes. So the answer is clear. H3 can run on an 8GB GPU, but it is not fast. If you only need to generate a few important shots occasionally, or you are happy to let the PC process them in the background, it still has practical value. But for repeated testing, generating multiple variations, or batch production, 16GB of VRAM is much more practical. However, if H3 delivers impressive quality, and can even run on an 8GB GPU, can we finally leave LTX 2.3 behind? So, can MiniMax H3 replace LTX 2.3? My answer is, not yet. H3's main strengths are multimodal references and native audio. It is better suited to quality-focused hero shots that require character consistency, motion, camera direction, and complete sound. However, it is also a much larger and slower model. LTX 2.3 is faster, more flexible, and supported by a more mature ComfyUI ecosystem. It is better suited to quick previews, repeated iteration, and generating a large number of shots, especially for users with only 8GB of VRAM. The most practical approach is to use LTX 2.3 to test the composition, motion, and camera direction, then use H3 to complete the most important scenes. After completing these tests, I believe the most important thing about MiniMax H3 is not simply its visual quality. The real change it brings is the ability to combine character images, motion reference videos, voice references, character dialogue, ambient sound, and music within a single generation context. If we focus specifically on multimodal references and native audio, it may be one of the strongest local video models available right now. However, it still cannot completely replace every existing workflow. H3 is better suited to producing high-quality hero shots, while LTX 2.3 remains more practical for generation speed, repeated iteration, and mature workflows. If you want to use the optimized H3 workflow featured in this video, including the turbo and low VRAM versions, complete prompts, and all parameters, I will make it available on Patreon. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to Smart Vision, and tell me in the comments, do you think H3 can replace LTX 2.3? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.